Well, time is just gone 5 minutes to 9. We continue with our broadcast, the weekly edition with eThekwini Secure, and so much happening in local cities, local government, votes of no confidence. We know what had taken place in Johannesburg last week. Tapelo Ahmad now being the mayor after a vote of no confidence against Umpo Palazzi last week. We spoke with Imtiaz Sayed and looking at KwaZulu Natal, and just generally looking at how these votes of no confidence, what are they actually creating? They're creating instability towards service delivery, and a lot of it is driven by politicians. And a lot of people are saying that a minority party like Al Jama, Tapelo Ahmed becoming the mayor, and which is a good thing. But a lot is playing behind the scenes. Believe me, that politicians and national political agendas playing out at local government level, all of it is affecting you and I as a ratepayer. We're joined now by Mohammed Batman Ismail from eThekwini Secure. Mohammed, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and
Walaikum
welcome as
assalam wa
always.
rahmatullah. Thank you very much. It's been a while. Pleasure again being on your show. I just
Ye-
I was listening to your introduction. You said maybe to bring instability or maybe instability, but I'm saying maybe it is to bring stability, and the stability is what we want politically in KZN. Firstly, starting within the municipality itself, because you must remember this vote of no confidence is quite a serious vote of no confidence in the case of the mayor, and it's the first time ever that a vote of no confidence, if you want to call it that, to remove the mayor as an exco member and also as the mayor itself himself would is telling, because Durban has fallen apart. So we need to bring stability in terms of service delivery back to the people, back to the ratepayer, and that is the bottom line of it all.
Well, the reason why I mentioned instability is, we have a situation like we've seen the situation in Joburg evolve, where you've got now a mayor from a minority party. And the reason why I'm saying instability is every time a new mayor comes in, they need to pick up the pieces. And by the time they pick up the pieces, a lot happens in between. That instability is still there because people are skeptical. You've got a new mayor and he's got to get to grips with his job and those things, and before he really gets into things, something else actually happens. And we've seen it happen over and over in Joburg, where we've seen all these votes of no confidence. Now, hopefully, in Durban, you may, see another situation where possibly you could get somebody who will be there for a long time and not just chop and change or hand over the mayoral chain from one person to the other.
We can't say that it is going to happen or it's not going to happen, but when we do get a new mayor, what we want to do is to ensure that there is some stability happening through that, because at the end of the day, it's the people who suffer, and the the politics that's played in the background is not exactly very polite in terms of what's happening, and you can't have autocratic rule in what you want to do. So you can't have one party completely dictating and doing what needs to be done. So hopefully, with this change, we can see, or we hope to see some semblance in what we want to do. And you must also remember that KZN has always been the political hotbed for a long time. So we have to check how this thing plays out exactly. But at the end of the day, it's for the ratepayer. It's for getting service delivery done, because we're virtually at a standstill here in KZN, and we want to get this train moving again in the right direction with the right people at the helm doing the right thing for a long time to come in the interest of the people.
Yes, but also, Mohammed, the expectation would be from voters and from ratepayers is when they're voting at a local government level, is they are voting for a person, they are voting for a party that is representing them. And when this chopping and changing takes place and that person does not represent, it is somewhat of a dilemma, because you're not getting what you wanted in the first place. And the question is, what you see is what you're not getting. And this again is putting ratepayers in a difficult situation, because he's saying that, what, yeah, I voted, and these are people that are not representing us anymore.
Yeah, that is true, and that is a political makeup, because you must remember the ANC has a very, very strong history in this country. So, excuse me, Maf. Are you voting for the person, or are you voting for the party? That needs to be separated. And if you're looking at it, we don't typically vote for candidates except when it's local government elections for particular wards. But in essence, you're voting for a party. And then the Active Citizens Coalition came into the fore. And initially, yes, we did get some flack for supposedly supporting the ACC, which is actually not entirely true. Uh, there was a coalition that came into play, and now we're at a position after 14 months or 13 months in council, and we looked at what happened, and we're also disappointed in the way in which things have happened, and thus we're bringing in a motion for change, and we spoke about change as we came in as a new party, and we've got elected. We have a good support out there, and we need to ensure that our electorate, our voters, our residents, our ratepayers are satisfied to a point where they know we are there in their best interest, and that's exactly what we're doing right now to
Yes,
bring that change.
Mohammed, as long as it's a motion for change and for the betterment, which is fine. But what happens in many instances, and I'm going to cite the Johannesburg
Mm.
example, where the motion for change was based more on personal ambitions than changing and for the betterment of the ratepayers. Because, we've heard of so much horse trading that is taking place, jockeying for positions, who's going to get what position. And when that is the underlying reason, and when that is the main motive, then there is a problem, when we're talking about change. And also we've seen how coalition partners actually switch loyalties, they switch sides, they cross the floor from one to the other because of personal ambitions and what the party actually wants for their people that they put in place there.
Yeah. Jostling for position is a reality. It's always going to be there in politics. It exists from the level that we are in right up to parliament. It's there. We cannot deny it. But we need to rectify that at a point, because are we thinking of our own selfish political party interests, or are we thinking for the people? So that thinking has to change to a point. And when you're looking at the city of Johannesburg, when the Al Jama mayor came in, you need to unpack it and understand why. Does he have complete freedom, or is he still absolutely captured by the other parties? Now, how is he going to move? It's left to be seen, because that's a very, very big surprise with a minority party coming in and getting a chairperson. Look, that was the ambition. It had to have political undertones. It had to have some kind of jostling, jockeying for that to have happened. A complete surprise. Well, I hope when we get here to our election for a new mayor, we're going to have somebody that's in an authoritative position, highly experienced, and knows exactly what he wants to do and what he needs to do. So, of course, there's going to be negotiation when it comes to the choosing of or the candidate of the new mayor. And anybody can nominate whoever it is. It would depend in which way the vote goes, but we need to have a candidate who has integrity, and that's the most important thing.
Well, Mohammed, all eyes are going to be on Durban to see what develops, and there's never ever a dull moment. But let's see what develops and what the final decisions are going to be. But for now, as always, we thank you. We say Jazakallah for your time,
Jazakallah. It was
and
a pleasure.
always, bringing to the fore a lot that as ratepayers, as society, actually need to know. So we thank you for that as well. Assalamu alaikum
Jazakallah. Thank you.
warahmatullahi
Wa alaikum
wabarakatuh.
salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mohammed Batman Ismail was us this morning, and that's heading for news time. We've got Zaid Jedward standing by.